Hi ladies, how are you? Hope everyone is well and enjoying your summer. We just got back from a few days of being away with our family and the kids on a vacation. The truth is I took a little bit of a video from Machtesh Ramon, which is a giant crater in the Negev, in the desert, but it came out very, very windy and it's hard to hear, really see anything, so I didn't post it. It was just a quick clip. I wanted to speak about the Parsha and talk about something coming up for Elul. As always, I'll try to keep this just a brief share, and I do appreciate all the feedback that you've been sending, and I hope you enjoy, and I'll, Mir Hashem, try to keep these up. This week's Parsha is Parshat Re'eh. Re'eh is a little bit of a break from the previous Parshas in Sefer Bamidbar, because until now it was mostly like a Musar Shmuz from Moshe Rabbeinu, but Parshat Re'eh, while there is a lot of Musar and a lot of Hashkafa and Emunah in the Parsha, it switches into a lot of halachos. There's a lot of halachos that come up in the Parsha. It talks at the beginning of the Parsha about what to do when there's a false Navi, a false prophet that comes, or a whole city that's involved in Avodah Zarah. There's a lot of Ben Adam L'Chavero that comes up in this week's Parsha. There's halachos of Yantif that come up in the Parsha. So a variety of things. So what I want to focus in on Perek Tes Vav. Perek Tes Vav is, there's a lot of Ben Adam L'Chavero. This is where the mitzvah of tzedakah is, the mitzvah of giving charity, the mitzvah of lending people money, and there's some very interesting things that come out from these few psukim. I just wanted to point this out to you. Most of what I'm going to say comes from Moshe David Valley, as I am fond of quoting. Some of it, other thoughts are mixed in along the way. You find something interesting in this whole parsha, this section that deals with the halachos of lending money, and giving tzedakah, and these types of things. There's a lot of repeated language. It says, for example, we're in Perek Tes Vav, Pasuk Ches, Ki pasoach tiftach es yadcha lo. When a person comes asking for money, when there's a pauper who's going to come and going to ask you for a loan, don't be harsh, don't hold your heart and don't give him. Ki pasoach tiftach es yadcha lo. Open your hand. Yeah, v'ha'aveit ta'avitenu de mechsaro, and lend him, provide for him what he's lacking. Asher yechsar lo, that that which is his lack. So you see this double language. Pasoach tiftach, open. Ha'aveit ta'avitenu. The ha'aveit means to lend with a mashkon, to lend with collateral. When you lend money, just stam, that's a halva'a. But when you lend with collateral, when you take something to guarantee the loan, that's called ha'avata. So give him charity, lend him with collateral, which we'll explain why in a second. Then later on in the psukim, Pasuk Tes says, be careful, don't be cruel. Pasuk Yud, nason titen lo, give him, yeah, v'lo yero levavcha b'sitcha lo, and don't let it be bad in your heart when you give it to him. Ki b'glal hadavar hazeh yivrecha Hashem lokecha, because this is the reason that you got the money to begin with. V'chol ma'asecha, v'chol mishlach yadecha. This is why you got the money. You should give it to him. Continuing in Pasuk Yud Aleph, again, Pasoach tiftach es yadcha le'achicha. You should surely provide for him. Pasuk Yud Aleph, further on, this is talking about when a slave is let free after 6 years, when a slave finishes. So the halacha is we're not allowed to set the slave free and just go off on his own. We have to give him things. We have to provide him with the goods that he needs for the travel. And the lashon is ha'anek ta'anik lo. Also, again, a double lashon. Ha'anaka is the mitzvah of giving a slave who's set free. You have to give him from your tzon, mugaronchom, yekvecha. You have to give him from your wine and from your oil. As the halacha is again that you have to do. So why is this double language? If you look in the English translations, it says you shall surely give. Ki pasoach tiftach, you shall surely open your hand. It's like a language of stressing. But I want to read to you a few words here from Moshe David Valley, what he explains here, a little bit of a deeper idea of what's happening when the language is used in this double way. He says like this. He says that a person has to know that it's sometimes hard to do tzedakah, and because pasoach tifcha, gam omer pasoach tifcha lirmos shekeshem shehu poseach as yodo melamata kach poseach lo melamala. The same way that a person opens up his hand over here downstairs melamata kach posken lo melamala, so too melamala from Hashem will a person be blessed with shefa from Hashem. Ki b'midah she'adam moded ba modedin lo, because the way that a person acts, that's how Hashem acts with him. Because the Elyonim, right, the Shemayim, what takes place in Shemayim and how it affects us over here, affects us the same way as a shadow affects the body. Yeah, if a person opens up his hand, yeah, gam hatzel pasachas, also the shadow. Maybe we could do it. We have a light here, right? So you have my hand in the shadow, right? When the goof opens, right, the shadow opens. Yeah, that's the idea. He says a beautiful thing, like Chazal say this, Darshu Chazal al Pasuk, Hashem tzilcha al yad minecha. We say in Tehillim, Hashem tzilcha al yad minecha. Hashem is your shadow by your right hand, right? So the idea, Chazal say, what does it mean Hashem tzilcha, Hashem is your shadow? It means Hashem responds to us middah kineged middah. And it's very interesting how he brings that pasuk over here, because we know always, the side yamin, the right side is always the side of chesed. So we're saying Hashem tzilcha al yad minecha. When your Yad Yamin, when your hand of Chesed is in operation, Pasoach Tiftach Es Yadcha, Hashem Tzilcha Al Yad Yaminech. Hashem will be your tzel on that Yad Yamin. The way that I act with others, that's how Hashem is going to act with me, and that's how it goes through the whole parsha. He points this out. By each of these things, ha'aveit ha'avitenu. So he says, why is the pasuk saying to be lending on a mashkon? Why does it mean to lend with a collateral? Why not just lend regularly? So he says a beautiful thing. He says, because both the lender and the borrower are more comfortable when there's collateral involved in the loan. That's what he says. He says the lender is more comfortable, the one who's giving out the money, he's more comfortable because he knows that his loan is secure. And he says that the borrower feels less pressure, right, when he knows that there's a mashkon, when he knows there's a collateral, and when the borrower knows that his collateral is in the hands of the lender, so then it makes him less pressured on the loan. And it's an amazing thing, because he said, the same idea. When Hashem gives us shefa, when Hashem gives us bracha, it can come to us in all sorts of different ways. Like the pasuk says here, when we're giving good, lo yira levavcha, it shouldn't be bad in our hearts. We're supposed to give happily, right? If we give happily, Hashem gives us happily, right? Hashem tzilcha. And so the idea, it's not just what we give, we get back, but how we give, we get back. And he says like this, the idea that a person who gives on a mashkon, a person who gives a loan, and the recipient of the loan, the lover, the recipient of the loan, the borrower, he feels secure in the loan. The shefa that we're going to get from Hashem, sometimes you can get something, but you can get it in such a way that the circumstances are such that you're not sure if you're going to be able to keep it, you're not sure if it's going to get taken away from you, it's not secure. And sometimes, a person gets something and they have it and it's secure and they're confident with it and they're comfortable with it and they recognize that it's theirs. That's also a bracha, how we get things and the way that Hashem deals with us. So just all throughout this parsha, this section, it's so important to remember this idea of the way that we Hashem tzilcha al yad yaminecha, the way that we operate with Hashem operates with us. I thought this was really hashgacha because I wanted to try to introduce something for Elul. I have a chavrusa that I learned with just an Israeli person, a big Talmid Chacham named Amir Rappaport, and he told me a very interesting thing this year. That, I don't know, for some reason, as soon as he told this to me, it really caught me, and I said to myself, you know what, I want to try to do this with you folks, and see if we can make something work out of this. And he said like this, that an avoda for Elul, Elul's coming up, Yom Noraim, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, an avoda for Elul is for a person to take a Maimer Chazal, take something that speaks to them, and every day to focus on it. Every day to focus on it, think about it, something that's going to inspire them, something that's going to, to build them, and to think about it, let them try to, process it over the course of the day, and over a period of time, over a period of a month, and the person focusing on something over and over, so it can get into us and really have an effect. So I want to try to do this. I want to try to give shiurim over Elul. I want to try to learn some more Benon L'Chavero. I think we're going to go through Tomer Devorah in little 5-minute snippets of going through the Sefer Tomer Devorah. But what I'd like to do is like this. I'd like to start each year by going over a particular Maimer Chazal, which I'll introduce it now because it really has to do with this parsha, which is why I thought it was hashgacha when I saw this, when I was thinking about doing this. And maybe every year in the beginning I'll just mention this Maimer Chazal, I'll say it over, and if any other thoughts come to me, I could share them with you. And if you have thoughts about this or chizuk about this, and you want to send it in to me, and I'll share it back, or I don't know how you do comments and such on Facebook and this and that. But the Maimer Chazal that I picked is something that we've all learned together in class, something I've spoken about a lot of times, but it's something that is especially pressing during the month of the Elul and coming up to Yom Adim, and that we're looking at the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah, Daf Yud Zayin Amud Aleph. The Gemara says here towards the bottom, such a powerful Gemara, Kol ha'mavir al midosov ma'avirin lo al kol peshav. A simple one line. Kol ha'mavir al midosov, a person who's mavir on his midos, a person who lets things slide, a person who lets things go. Like Rashi says, what does it mean ma'avir? Like you say, ein ma'avirin ala mitzvos. You're not allowed to be mavir on a mitzvah. What does that mean? You're not allowed to pass up a mitzvah for something else. If a mitzvah comes, that's what they say, if you're, by Kiddush, if they pass the kos around by Kiddush, and the kos comes to a person, they're supposed to drink it. They're not supposed to pass it. Unless the Baal Bayis says, please pass this on. Why? Because ein ma'avirin ala mitzvos. You don't pass up a mitzvah This is why the halach is when a man puts on their tefillin in the morning and their talis, you're supposed to put on your talis first and then the tefillin. So the halacha is that when you put your talis and tefillin away in the talis bag, the talis should be closer to the opening than the tefillin, because I'm not allowed to reach past the tefillin in order to take the talis out. And that's the halacha. If I didn't put it in the right way and my tefillin are further to the front, I'm not allowed to pass them to get the talis. I have to put on my tefillin first. And even within the tefillin bag, you're supposed to put the shel yad on before the shel rosh. And likewise, the shel yad is supposed to be positioned in the bag further up, again, because you're not allowed to be mavir. And it's Rashi says that's the same idea here. Kol mavir al midosav, a person who passes by his own midos, passes by the things that bother him. Like Rashi says, she'enu medaktek limdo midah lemitzarim. Also, he doesn't work middah kineged middah. When a person is mitzayir me, a person harms me, I pass over it. I don't go back ahead and cause him tsar. Uminiach midosav v'holichlo, and I leave it on the side. I don't let it bother me. Yeah. So ma'avir lo al kol pishov. Right? Ein midas hadin medaktekes achareihen. This is what Rashi says. Midas hadin is not medaktek. It doesn't look into my averos. The same way that I let things slide for this person, Hashem lets things slide for me. Shene'emar, like the pasuk says, no say avon v'over al pesha. Hashem passes over sins v'over al pesha, and He passes over sins. So what does that mean? The mi no say avon. Who is the one that his sins are forgiven? The misha over al pesha. To a person who lets things slide when somebody does a pesha, somebody does an averos to me, and Rav Chaim Vital points out, that it says Mavir lo al kol peshav. A pesha is the worst type of an aveira. A pesha is an aveira that is done b'mezid. And he says kol shekain a chet and an avon, kol shekain things that are done not on purpose and by accident, this type of thing. So what a powerful thing to think about. We should look for opportunities. We'll see this Mir Shem as Elam moves on. We'll talk more about this. Kol mavir al midosov Mavir lo al kol peshav. A person has to think about this. A person wants, like we all learned by Rav Dessler, this idea. A person wants a quick route to tshuva by Elul. So this is the key. Kol mavir al midosov Mavir lo kol peshav. Hashem tzilcha al yad minecha. The way that we operate with others, Hashem will operate with us. Not just that we give and we'll get back, but the way we give, to give in a good way, to give with a smile, Hashem will give us with a smile. We should all be zocha. Hashem, have a wonderful Shabbos, and I look forward to continuing this. A little bit of news. We're moving next week. The Rosenstein family within Ramot. We're moving just a couple of blocks away, but Hashem, that'll be on Tuesday. So I don't know. I hope I'll have time to get some more shiur in between now and then. All right, ladies, have a wonderful Shabbos. Bye bye.